So, after 3 months of using an iPhone as an Android user, do I not like it? Or will I turn everyone against me? And my conclusion is that not either phone is better. I think they're both bad equally.
Don't you love equality?
Now, before that, let's give a bit of context to my Android journey. This was my first phone. I don't remember the fucking name of the model, I just remember that it was white, and it had a stylus. Pretty cool. Nevertheless, throughout my life, I've always been using an Android phone, and not once did I touch an iPhone because I was allergic to it. I'm just kidding, I just thought that I'll never ever touch the iPhone because I never thought of switching to one. Now, I'm way too used to the Android ecosystem and I thought that I had absolute no reason to switch to the other side. I'm just kidding, even if I wanted to, I had no money at that time. But then YouTube happened and I can afford meat for my meals. But then 2024 came around and phones started to become pretty good. So good, in fact, that I think we're starting to plateau technologically. Which is funny because the price is doing the exact opposite. So, given my wonderful Android resume, why on earth did I fucking switch to an iPhone? Now, I was writing the script and I was originally going to tell this really long story that would provide really good context, but then I realized we live in an age where yapping for more than 3 seconds would lose my viewers' interest. So long story short, I just needed a new phone and I thought, why the fuck not? And 3 months later, daily driving this iPhone 16 Pro, here are the goods and the bads. And no, I'm not going to every detail, going through individual spec sheets. Who am I, Linus Tech Tips? If you want the super technical specs, you can do that with this thing called Google. Instead, I will mainly go over the notable things that I personally noticed throughout my use of this phone. So, let's start with the good things that I've experienced so far using this phone, and then we can go to the bad things, pretty much what everyone in my fan base wants me to say. Anyway, back to the good things, let's start with how smooth this fucking phone is. There's something about just using an iPhone for some reason that makes it feel so fluid and so smooth. I don't know if Tim Cook was cooking something. Get it? I'm just kidding. It was all Steve Jobs. Because he get good jobs. Now, I don't know if it's just because the way things are animated in iOS, but just navigating around my phone or doing literally anything feels like, for some reason, a premium experience. So this is what try to be rich people feel like. Now, just going through different menus and having smooth animations is just so freaking satisfying, and I don't think it's necessarily faster than Android. I think the word suited for the best is that iOS just feels more artificially fluid. Now, for me personally, it's very pleasant to use, and I know this not might mean much to most people, but just the little things like pressing the volume button and having that little animation and the floating dynamic Hawaii island thing, I don't know what you fucking call that thing, whatever. It's actually pretty utilized pretty well, especially with different apps, and your volume ringer button, it's pretty nice, I have to admit. I first realized how cool the dynamic island is when I started working out with the Heavy app, and every time I would exit the app during an active workout, it will show me the amount of sets I have left. And a lot of apps that I use pretty much utilize this Hawaii island, which is pretty cool. I think it's one of those things I just appreciate coming from Android because I don't know, it just feels very smooth, and I know size doesn't matter, but so far with my case, it's really nice. Another good thing that I've noticed while using this phone compared to my old Samsung is that unlike most relationships, it's pretty stable. Now, almost for a month straight, I've been dealing with a buggy-ass Messenger app, especially when talking with my friends, and it's just so freaking infuriating.
Wow, first world problems, am I right?
Okay, now obviously, this is not the fault of Android, it's the fault of the developer, but that is the issue. It's a skill issue. I noticed that apps on the iPhone are for some reason better supported than Android in general. And until now, I never had an app crash on me or bug out on me on my iPhone. Every app just feels like a smooth experience. Now, a potential reason to why that is a friend told me a theory that unlike iOS, which is pretty much like the same platform on every Apple device, there are a lot of Android phones that does not have the same build. We have different companies like Samsung, Xiaomi, whatever, and so typically apps behave differently on different Android phones. Now, I don't know because I've been using the Z Flip 5 and I'm sure that's a pretty new phone, so if the app is bugging there, then I don't know. If it's true, then it's true, but I'm too lazy to research it for myself, so I'll just run with it. But yeah, I would say app experience is pretty much very stable. The next up we have airdrop. It's so fucking good, my pants are wet. I can't stress how freaking convenient airdrop is, and the speed is just so fast that I'm starting to realize why a lot of people who are trapped in the Apple ecosystem doesn't want to leave. I'm always transferring the documents because I'm a student stuck in this rat race, so that's a riveting life that I have to go through. And I have to commend Apple with this one because the experience is just so seamless. When my devices have airdrop turned on, they're instantly recognized to each other, and transferring files is just so fast and so easy. Like, I swear, if transferring files is this easy, then why the heck has my crush not replied yet? Now, a comment on my old video did mention that Android had a similar feature called Quick Share, but I'm going to be honest, with my whole 20 years of using Android, I've never used it. I tried, and just like a husband trying to save his dying marriage, I tried, but it just wasn't it. Connecting was not as fluid. Sometimes my friend's phone wouldn't appear at all, and I'm just saying, if it was as good as Apple, then I would have probably been using it for years now, but I've never freaking touched that feature, and I would have rather just uploaded my file on Google Drive rather than downloading it separately on my other device rather than using that feature. Maybe I turned into a slob, who knows. But yeah, airdrop on the other hand, it's just, oh my god, so freaking fast, and it connects so well to other Apple devices, so that whenever I have a friend, I just ask them to airdrop me files, and it happens in seconds. I noticed that's kind of how Apple ropes you in, is that they make using Apple devices together in this ecosystem so well that they try to make you buy different devices for your own ecosystem, and then they keep letting you buy even more and more. And so far, it's working. I'm even interested in getting a MacBook. Now, before we continue this video on this comparison between Android and Apple, let's talk about the comparison between Google Calendar and today's sponsor, akiflow. I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna talk about Google Calendar. In terms of scheduling everything, such as my school, my exams, my to-do lists, my tasks for YouTube, personally, I don't like the hassle of having way too many apps. And we kind of live at this point of time where there's so many apps just for different purposes. It's kind of more convenient just to have one. And this is where akiflow comes in. Essentially, akiflow solves that problem by being a great all-in-one to-do calendar app where you could have integrations as well from the different apps you use. For example, I'm sure everyone uses Google Calendar. Well, it is integrated very well with akiflow, and as someone who also uses Notion, where I track pretty much all of my projects for YouTube and everything, you can integrate Notion with akiflow. akiflow is so well integrated with tasks and calendar that I just use it to track pretty much all my to-do lists, my projects, and my events on my calendar. Having it all on one app is just so convenient for me, especially since I have to juggle so many things in my life. I've been using this application for almost a year, and they're consistently updating this app with new features, and they're even adding AI as well. What I love about akiflow compared to normal calendars is specifically the routine planners as well as the different views you have for your to-do lists. For example, if I have a project or if I have a task that is specific for the month and not on a day, I can plan that on akiflow. I just have to go to the month view and I just have to add a task there. And you can do that for different weeks as well, or different months. It's very flexible. The other feature that I mentioned is that you can plan your routine using akiflow with the routine feature. Essentially, every morning or every night, you can plan your whole week or day using the routine feature. It shows you your past progress on your previous weeks or days and allows you to plan the next week or day, which is pretty cool. Aside from that, akiflow has features such as tagging your tasks, creating different projects for your tasks, dragging them into the calendar, and all around being a good all-in-one app for your tasks and your calendar. I've been using akiflow for so long now, and since I have a very hectic life, it's just a great way to sort of organize everything that I need to do in one place. So if you guys are interested, head down to the link in the description to get akiflow for yourself. If you want to manage your life with a lot of avenues, if you have a lot of things to juggle, then I recommend akiflow if you want to take control of your life. Again, you can head down to the link in the description to get akiflow for yourself. Anyway, let's talk about the bad things about Apple. Back to the video. Alright, moving on to the really bad parts of Apple. Number 1, Apple Intelligence. It really fucking sucks. I don't know how Apple fumbled this hard, but it's just so freaking bad. When it launched, I tried using it for a few weeks, and for the first few days it was fine. Every time I had a question, it answered fine. However, whenever I asked a more complicated question, it kept asking me if I wanted to ask ChatGPT instead, which if that's the case, I would have opened ChatGPT in the first place, you freaking moron. That's why I'm using you, Apple Intelligence, because I don't want to open ChatGPT in the first place. It doesn't even read the screen, it just sends ChatGPT a screenshot and then asks it for it. It's like, what the hell, Apple? You're so rich, but you're offloading your work to ChatGPT? Like, what the fuck? The next thing I miss, and oh my god, where the frick is the goddamn clipboard? You're telling me that in 2025, with Apple developing one of the most powerful and efficient chips like the M4 chip, but they can't program a
Goddamn clipboard menu, like, oh my god.
Okay, don't get me wrong. Apple has a very good clipboard feature. That sentence was a fucking lie. Their feature is basic at best. I can only copy one thing at a time. When it comes to having multiple clipboard items for different stuff, for example, I would have to copy different citations or different messages. I'm just forced to remember what the one copied text that is in my clipboard. Unlike in Gboard, you literally have a menu of all your clipboarded texts. Apple, I don't get why it's so hard for you to code this freaking thing, like just do it already. Number 3, Apple's keyboard. I don't like Apple's keyboard. This might be a personal thing because I'm more used to the Gboard, but I just don't like that I have to press another menu just to click period, unlike the Gboard, which is just literally on the main keyboard itself. Now yes, this could be a skill issue, and maybe I'm just not an Apple guy, but I don't know if it's just me, but I make so much more typing errors when using Apple keyboard compared to Gboard, but I think I'm just used to Gboard for that reason, so yeah. Another big annoying thing is that Apple does not have a back button. Yes, you can swipe left to go back in the app and swipe right to go forward, but for some reason there's no native back button. So if you want to press back to exit an app, or just use any app for that matter, you can't do that. It just feels so natural in Android because you're able to just go back no matter what, but unfortunately for Apple, you can't do that. You have to just swipe home, so it's a different gesture, so it's a very small thing, but it's annoying. And the most annoying thing I find about Apple is why the fuck is everything in settings? If I want to tweak something about an app, I have to go to settings rather than the app itself. Maybe I'm just not used to this system, but I just don't get why everything is in the settings app when I just want to access it from the app directly. A lot of the times when I want to change to a certain specific setting in a specific app, I have to go out and then go to settings and then look for the setting there, and I have to navigate through all of these settings and I get so confused. So yeah, it's annoying as hell. But yeah, those are the things that I find good and I find annoying about Apple, and the question is, will I keep using Apple? And the short answer is yes. I mainly bought an Apple phone just because I really like the stability of apps. And I've noticed that there's a different philosophy for Apple and Android. For Android, you are the admin, meaning that you get to control a lot of things about your phone. For iPhone, it's like you are a lavish user. You will not like Apple if you treat it like an Android, but if you use it like an Apple user, where you don't have to really customize your phone till the end and you're enjoying Apple's system, it will be a luxurious ride for you. I have to admit, after using my phone like an iPhone user, I genuinely enjoyed using it because it was just so nice to use. But the moment I wanted to customize something, or the moment I wanted to switch something, that's when I feel like Android users will really not like Apple. But back to my conclusion. So why do I think both phones are bad? And the simple answer is, who the fuck cares at this point? Nowadays, phones are so good, and at the end of the day, I always preach this, your phone is just a freaking tool. Maybe Android will be better than iPhone will be better than Android for different people. Why the hell are we having this argument till this day? It's a goddamn phone. But for those who are curious, yes, I will still rock the iPhone if I had the choice, because I do plan on shifting to the ecosystem of Apple, just because I feel like in terms of workflow wise, it will be much better, but we will see. But bottom line is, I think most phones are actually quite good. I don't think they're shit. Anyway, Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to drink your water. Bye!